US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has defended Washington's decision to spare China from secondary sanctions over Russian oil, even as steep tariffs hit India. Rubio warned that penalizing Beijing's energy trade could send global oil prices soaring.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be a major lever to pull to put sanctions on Europe or punish Europe for continuing to buy oil and gas from Russia? Is that something on the table?
Well, I don't know about on Europe directly, obviously, but certainly there are implications to secondary sanctions. If you put secondary sanctions on a country, let's say you were to go after the oil sales of Russian oil to China, well, China just refines that oil. That oil is then sold into the global marketplace, and anyone who's buying that oil would be paying more for it, or if it doesn't exist, would have to find an alternative source for it. So we have heard, when you talk about the Senate bill that was being proposed where there's 100% tariffs on China and India, we did hear from a number of European countries, not in press releases, but we heard from them is some concern about what that could mean. But look, I don't want to get into a tit for tat with the Europeans on this. I think they can play a very constructive role here in helping us get to that point. But and the president has kept them in the loop. The first call the president made as soon as the meeting with Putin was over was to the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, who will be there tomorrow as well.
Rubio explained that most Russian oil imported by China is refined and resold in the global marketplace, including to Europe. He said sanctioning Chinese refiners would severely disrupt supply chains and raise costs worldwide. The Secretary stressed that Europe itself remains reliant on Russian energy, both oil refined in China and direct gas imports. He argued that European nations must do more to reduce their own dependence before Washington escalates penalties. India, however, faces harsher treatment. Washington has slapped 50% tariffs on Indian imports, including a 25% duty tied to its ongoing energy trade with Moscow. Rubio said this was necessary to maintain pressure on the Kremlin. Asked why China was spared, Rubio said US sanctions strategy must avoid backfiring. He warned that targeting Chinese refiners directly could force oil buyers worldwide to pay more, sparking volatility across global markets. Bureau Reports, NewsX World.